Hi guys, and welcome to my kitchen on a rainy day. So today is what day? It's Wednesday, and it's raining outside like cats and dogs. So I've got the light on. It's about 10 o'clock, and I'm thinking I'm just gonna make some kind of warm rainy day lunch. So this is what I do on a warm on a rainy day when I just want something nice and warm and comforting. I make tomato soup. I make cream of tomato soup, just like when I was a kid at the cafeteria at school. They would have cream of tomato soup. So this recipe is super simple. Like honestly, it barely requires a recipe because it's that easy. I view this video more as you keeping me company than me teaching you something very difficult, you know? Not that I ever do anything really difficult, but you know what I mean. So I am going to just start by telling you that this recipe is not on my website, but it's in my Feel Good Fall Winter book. But let me run you through it. You're gonna see it's like super simple, okay? First, we're going to start with, I'll just list the ingredients. You need olive oil, okay? So you need 4 tablespoons or so of olive oil. An onion that we're gonna chop. You need 2 tins of tomatoes. They can be diced, they can be in a pulp, I don't care, but you need to include the juices in here. So the tins are 400 grams each. So I use 2 of these. This is a brand I really like. I don't know if you find this, you know, elsewhere. It's this thing called Solo Pomodoro Muti. I don't even know, but if it's easy to find, but it's a really good brand, and I like it here, and it's not crazy expensive. But anyway, if you find it, great. If not, doesn't matter, because any tin of like good tomatoes is gonna be fine. So you're gonna need the tomatoes, onion, garlic. You're gonna need tomato paste, which I don't have. Okay, this is my great frustration with tomato paste, is that I get those. There's the tubes, right? But the tubes are just, I don't like the tubes because I feel like they're not as good, and I always kind of want to use more, and I don't know, I just feel like there's a lot of packaging for a very small amount, so I don't like getting the tubes. And then there are the tins, but the tins tend to be sometimes you find the really small ones, and that's okay. But then there's the slightly bigger ones, and those are always too big because I never finish them. And so what happened is that I had one of these 2 big tins, like the tins that are a little bit bigger, and I used half of it, covered the rest, and that was like 10 days ago, and I took it out, and there was like mold on it this morning, and it was disgusting. So I have no tomato paste, which is something you totally need for this recipe. So what I'm gonna do is buy it later. I'm gonna get all this started to show you, and then I'm gonna run to the store or send a child to the store to get tomato paste. So you need that. You're gonna need 2 cups of chicken stock. You can use vegetable stock as well. I like to use chicken stock in this. And some thyme, and some fresh cream, like liquid cream. You don't have to, but I mean, you know, it's really nice to have the cream. If you're vegan, then obviously you'd use the vegetable stock, and instead of regular cream, there's so many vegan solutions, right? Like there's soy-based stuff. There's also cashew, like cashew-based cream that's like, you know, cashew milk but thicker. It's quite nice. So you could use that too. I often use actually cashews, like raw, natural, unsalted cashews, to I'm just gonna get the stove going, to thicken up a sauce like that I'm gonna puree. So like for instance, in a soup that I puree, instead of putting cream, I will often put a couple of raw cashews, and it actually gives a nice creamy consistency without using dairy. And you don't need to put a lot of them, right? You just need to put a couple. But if you've never tried that before, give it a try. So I'm gonna take this big thing of olive oil. I'm not putting all of it in here. I'm putting a few tablespoons. So in the recipe, I had written 4 tablespoons. Put a couple tablespoons. So I like to put the onions first. There. So I took a red onion. I like red onion in my cooking. But if you prefer to put the white or the yellow or whatever, I don't care. It's up to you. Whatever you've got on hand. Some garlic. The garlic, I put it after. So I'm going to saute this until it becomes nice and translucent and whatever. And then what I'm going to do is put in the garlic. And the reason I put the garlic, oftentimes when I think of it, I put it near the, a few minutes after the onion, just because garlic cooks really quickly. So you don't need to cook it for as long as the onion, and I don't want it to burn because burnt onion really sucks. So I'm going to use my garlic press so that my fingers don't get all sticky. I have to say, having a garlic press is such a wonderful thing. I use my garlic press, I'm going to put it right away, I'll put it later. I use my garlic press a lot, obviously for garlic, but I also use it, I've showed you this before in past videos, I think, is to squeeze the juice out of ginger. So if you've got ginger and you just peel it and put a little bit in the garlic press and press it, if it's a good quality ginger that's not too fibrous, where there's juice and stuff, it will come out and the thin pulp will come out, and it's amazing. So it's a quick kind of hack if instead of doing the whole mincing thing or the grating thing. If you want to put it in an Asian dressing, for example, and you want it minced pretty finely and you don't want to take the time of doing it all by yourself, just go like that. You peel it, put it in, and squish. And it works wonderfully. So I'm just going to get this going. I'm going to add the garlic, and then to that, normally once you've put the onion and you've put the garlic and it's simmering nicely and sauteing nicely, you're supposed to put the tomato paste. Now, I don't have any, so I'm not going to put it now. I'll put it later, which is big no-no, but I have no choice. But yeah, and the tomato paste is really nice because I find tomato paste, I was actually chatting with my sister the other day because she used to make this tomato paste pasta sauce, which was amazing. She'd put garlic, olive oil. I think she would even put a mix of olive oil and butter with the tomato paste. It sounds crazy. Onion, garlic. And then she would toss hot pasta in it. It was so good. So I have a thing definitely with tomato paste, and you will always find tomato paste in my pantry, except today. But yeah, now what I have been investigating with the tomato paste is I've heard that you've got powdered tomato paste. Has anybody tried that? I would love to try powdered tomato paste because you could actually keep that stuff, right? If it works. So I need to go and find some. I don't think I'll find any in France, but I can maybe order some online. Anyways, I will press this garlic in here. So I'm just gonna put a clove, I think, there. And then I will take some thyme from the garden. So what I do is we've got lots of thyme here in the region in southern France, just generally in the Mediterranean, right? You find so much thyme, rosemary, and all that stuff is everywhere. And often when you go hiking in the little kind of woods and mountains and stuff, you will find at certain times of the year, you will find more or less dried thyme everywhere. And so what I do is I will usually pick a bunch and get the kids to pick some, and then I will dry it, and I kind of store it like this. And I often, now it's in a sauce, so I'm just going to take the little bits of thyme out and put it in there. But if it's in a roast, if I'm just roasting some potatoes or whatever, I'm just going to, or a stew, I'm just going to throw the whole thing in. You see? It's just little, anyway. So that's my thyme story. So I put the garlic, I put the thyme. I haven't put the tomato paste, but if I had it, I would. And then when all of this starts smelling wonderful, I've got my stock that's ready to go. But before I put my stock, I'm gonna put the tinned tomatoes. Okay, but let me just let that make love to it itself in the pan for a bit. And yeah, and the other thing I was gonna say as I open these is what I do, like my thing, and I write it in the book, is my thing is tomato soup, rainy day, like cream of tomato soup, a bit of cream, and I have it with toast and melted cheese. It's so good. So usually I take like a dark pumpernickel kind of grainy bread, because I love like dark, like the German style pumpernickel bread. I love that, and I toast it so it's like dry, and I put melted cheddar or like a sharp cheese that's melted on top with the tomato soup. It's so amazing. In fact, you know what? Hang on, I will show you something. This is what this is gonna look like. All right, that's in my book, best lunch ever. Totally, that's what I'm doing for lunch once this is over. Okay, now if I don't have pumpernickel, what I'll do is I will, so I'm just putting in the 2 cans here of tomato chopped tomatoes and pulp. Right, and I'm gonna let that simmer. There we go for a little bit. I am adding stock, but I'm still gonna add a pinch of salt because I just will. A bit of pepper because I love my pepper. You could add any kind of other herbs if you were into, like, you can put a bay leaf in there. You can, put some maybe herbe de Provence, my favorite blend of local herbs. But what I was gonna say is I forgot. Anyways, we'll let that simmer for a bit. Another bread I really like is rye bread. So I've got some here. This rye bread is amazing. It's so good. Or if you've got like a really good, it smells so good. If you've got a really good sourdough kind of bread, I'm very into these darker kind of flours lately. I've been into rye and barley, and it's so nice. Okay, so we're gonna let that happen with the stock. So I've put 2 cups of stock. That's 500 milliliters of the chicken stock, and I'm just gonna let that simmer. Right, you just let it simmer for 20 minutes, half an hour. Then you turn it off. You put some cream in. You can blitz it if you want it to be extra super smooth. And you don't want any oniony bits or anything like that, and like you don't want the pieces of tomato. Here, these tomatoes have been pureed with their juice, so I don't actually totally need to puree this. But definitely, if you had diced chopped tomatoes in a tin, definitely once that's done, you blend it in I point over there because that's where my Vitamix is, and then you mix it with some fresh cream, and it's really delicious. And if you've got any left over, well, obviously you can eat it the next day or whatever, but you could also just like recycle this and call it a tomato sauce and toss it with some pasta, and it's really delicious. Or you can, put it on some roast eggplant, that has been sliced up and roasted, and with a little bit of Parmesan, and then shove it in the oven and call it aubergine Parmesan. And yeah, so you can totally recycle this. So this is why it's such a good lunch recipe. It's like just such a good recipe, because once you do it, eat it as a soup once, and the next day you do something else with it. And I'm telling you, toss it in pasta, in rice, in risotto. Amazing. I'm doing my Zoom paella cook along this afternoon evening, with a few of you. I'm excited. I can't wait. And so we're making paella, and the paella is you know, will require some tomatoes. So I may actually put a few tablespoons of this into the paella instead of adding maybe all the tomatoes. We'll see, but you know what I mean. You can totally reuse this. So yeah. And with regards to the paella class, I am giving away. I mean, not giving away, right? Like if you get the spring and summer ebook, with the spring and summer ebook, you get access to one of my Zoom classes. Like this week, we're doing paella. So a few people are doing the paella class, but next week I might be doing something else. So if you ever got the book, you would get one of these classes included in the package. And you get my free summer appetizer ebook as well. So it's fun. And cook-alongs are great because you get to do this live, and you've got your ingredients. So you kind of get there. Like a few of the girls today are like gonna show up and they're like, I have to make dinner, so we're gonna make dinner together and you're gonna show me how to make this paella, and that's what we're gonna serve. And it's a really good use of time if you want to cook and learn how to cook something new. And you do it with people, which is really nice because right now I feel like we need people. I certainly do. I just feel like right now is I feel the need to talk. Can you tell? And it's really nice to be in a Zoom class with other people. So yeah, so if you're interested, get the book, let me know. And I'll be offering these on my website anyways, as like a standalone class in the future. So look out for that. I'll let you know. Subscribe to my newsletter or whatever. Follow me on Instagram or whatever, and I'll let you know. On that note, I'm gonna let this baby simmer. So just so you see what I'm talking about here, this is it, right? And this is very simple, right? Like nothing mind-blowing. It just looks like, tomato soup. And voila. So I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope it's not rainy where you are. I can't believe this rain, man, southern France. But I guess it's thanks to that we've got all the beautiful greenery around here. Oh well. Have a good one.